How's it going? Welcome back. It's Jonathan. Okay, so in case you haven't seen it, and maybe you hadn't seen it, Bitcoin has basically just confirmed the cycle low is in for the 90-day Bitcoin cycle low, which we were expecting to come around this time period here. If we go back, you can see that we had a time period here, which we were expecting a low based on the top, which is a little off from our original hypothesis a few months ago. However, from the last video, we do have a low, and it has been confirmed because Bitcoin has just recently broken the highs that have occurred, and I don't have live data on, so we're not able to see that. But before I get into the Bitcoin price and explain what is likely to happen next, I thought I would just reply publicly and just explain myself, because I have to a comment that I had on one of my videos. It says, if someone can make money from the market, a successful trader does not sell by insisting on a training course. Mr. Jonathan, you do not give anything positive to the audience, just to sell training courses. Now, you're right. Actually, I give nothing positive to this community. I give nothing positive to this audience, and my whole objective is to sell your training course, and that is why I upload videos every single day. Oh wait, I don't upload videos every single day. I put out a video only when I think it's important to put out a video, don't I? Okay, so while we're on that topic, I just want to point out, I believe that I have the most unique YouTube channel of them all. No, I'm not the most entertaining. No, I'm not the most interesting. But for what I specialize in, and that is forecasting, for a very, very special sub-niche topic, which would be classified as financial astrology or forecasting the markets or forecasting events in the world, I believe I have provided you ample knowledge, ample information for free. Right click here, click open new link. You'll head to my channel. Click on videos. 81 videos. Sure, I don't have time to upload things every day. This is not my main job. My main job is business. But go through, scroll back. I told you when the next 4-year cycle top is going to occur and when the next 4-year cycle low is going to occur. I give you the sine wave. I show you the 84-year war cycle. Scroll down. I've shown you so many things. If only you would get out a notepad and pen and take notes. Okay? I was the one forecasting a top in the markets, along with a very few others, back in 2021, when everyone else was bullish. Okay? It's all here. 13-week Bitcoin cycle. I show you. Let's go ahead and let's take a look. One of these is the actual theory on that 90-day Bitcoin cycle that I use. Go in and find it. Learn how to use it for yourself. My main job is not trading. I'm not a day trader. Okay, I'm a forecaster. I look at long-term trends and I move with them. My specialty is forecasting. You have no idea how many hours of research it takes to learn that specialty, to go into a subject field that no one wants to go into or everyone tells you is impossible. To learn a very new thing. I know I didn't go to university. I wasn't very good at school. However, I found something that I'm interested in and I'm passionate in, and I found out how to use it in the markets. Okay? So yeah, I don't offer any value. And in fact, the only thing I ever do is sell training courses. No, I don't. My channel is not a buy and sell signal service. Okay? You don't come to my channel to get signals. You can go to someone else's channel for that. In fact, it is highly illegal in the country where I reside to give buy and sell signals. So I refuse, no matter what service you go into of mine, I refuse to give you a buy and sell signal. However, I will give you the skills, or I will give you information in a way that you can use it to hopefully get ahead in the markets, okay? This video here walks you through the forecast for 2023, which I have shown you for the whole freaking year, and it walks you through on how to use that forecast, or how you could have used that forecast to your advantage. If only you had time to watch my videos and watch them in full. For how many months have I been saying that this market's going to end higher when everyone said it was going to go down? I think to you, sir, madame, whatever you are, Deborah Hemi, you perhaps do not have the understanding to interpret what I'm telling you. So to that, I replied, unsubscribe if you're subscribed and never return to my channel again. Thank you. So with that said, let's move on, because I felt that I shouldn't keep these things inside publicly. You know, when it comes to like anything online, there's always someone that's going to hate you, okay? There's always someone that's not going to appreciate you. And I can tell you in the crypto community, oh my God, it is so bad. To have thick skin is a benefit. And to come out with the things that some of us come out with, and to have like an alternative opinion on the world or on the markets is very rare. So I will not go against what I do. I will come out and I will give you a video on the markets when I feel it is necessary. If you have the eyes to see or the ears to hear, then you will be able to interpret that information and use it to your advantage. If you want to learn more, I teach you how to do it, okay? Or I give you the skills, or I give you the answers. If you don't want to learn how to do it, I give you the answers, okay? And you can apply them, or you can start slowly with a small subscription to one of my services, $50 a month, $30 a month, whatever is offered at the time. You can watch it play out behind the scenes. And if you're interested to learn more, then you can subscribe to something that I've spent over a decade trying to learn, okay? If you want to spend a decade trying to learn what I can teach you in a year, then be my guest, follow the same path. If you want to get like a cheat code to this, then that's why you subscribe. That's why you buy the services, why you go to university for 6 years to learn instead of getting a job at 90 because you took 60 years to learn a topic, okay? So the Bitcoin cycle has confirmed that it's made its low, and there's the low. Okay, now I'm not saying that. Okay, let me rephrase. If you haven't quite understood this 90-day Bitcoin cycle, go back to old videos. I explain it a lot. I'm going to give you just a quick rundown. We have a starting point, we have an ending point, and in between is a mid-cycle crest. Okay, this point here is mid-cycle, which means that from the start to the end, we have a midpoint, and what happens around that midpoint guides us into the next 90-day low, okay? The starting of the last cycle was down here. The midpoint was here. Originally, we thought, because we didn't break the tops, or topping patterns were seeming to occur before the midpoint, that we would get a lower low, okay? That was the original thesis. Once we broke up and we crossed the midpoint, again, go back and just watch it, because if this doesn't make sense, it's fully explained. Once we broke past this, and then we got these new tops, we were then looking for potential of a higher low. Simple as that, okay? So with these cycles, you get a low and you get a higher low, and you get a lower low. So what happens now? Well, Bitcoin has just confirmed, I see on some of the live charts that Bitcoin has crossed this top here. So it's confirmed that the low is in, and the low was this low that occurred on the 11th of December, which I originally thought was going to be a top, occurred to be a low, and it was the low of the actual 90-day cycle. So then that gives us a time period to be watching from this point here to this point here, which takes us out to around March 2024, where we're now watching for the next top or bottom to occur. Now, what do I mean by top or bottom? Well, a top has to occur for a bottom has to occur, and a bottom has to occur for a top to occur, okay? So if the market makes a top on the left-hand side of this, meaning if the market goes from this low, makes a top, and then starts to travel lower, then over here at the end of the 90-day Bitcoin cycle, the low is going to be lower than where it started. There's a high probability of that. I said will, I should say may, but there's a high probability of that, okay? Now let's go back and start again. We have our mid-cycle, I'm not going to redraw it. If the market moves higher, and it moves higher, and it moves higher, and it crosses this midpoint cycle point, then that means that the low that occurs is going to be higher than the low that started the cycle. And the same theory is plastered all over the videos and in the comment section of the YouTube channel, okay? Where I said pretty simply that the low that occurs in December is going to be higher than the low that started the cycle. And that's because we had the mid-cycle crest top and basically right at the high of the cycle. Now, a little bit of incorrectness I had from the last cycle. I did suggest that possibly we weren't going to cross, that 31,000 mark. We can see that we did cross that. I had an incorrect cycle that I was following, which invalidated itself, and we had to correct it, etc., etc., etc. Let's just now take a minute to waffle on and mumble about some potential things that are going to occur, okay? I know that there's a lot of channels that have done this, and I tend to have an agreement with them. We could be wrong. When a major event happens, such as an ETF, such as a futures, such as a brand new options contract or something like that, that goes on a large scale and it's had a lot of anticipation into the event, generally speaking, the day of the event marks the top of the cycle, or the top of that emotional cycle, okay? The reason I'm telling you this is because this run up is pricing in, and any continual run up is pricing in an ETF valuation. Everyone is suggesting now, I don't want to say everyone, there's a lot of people suggesting now that Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million this cycle. As soon as the ETF is launched, Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million because of a flush of new money that's coming into the market. That sounds too good to be true, okay? When has anything gone to $1 million because an ETF was launched? If you get an ETF of a share or a pool of shares, just because the ETF was launched, and let's say it tracks spot price or whatnot like that, or it has a net asset value, etc., just because in that ETF, based on investor demand, increases its net asset value, and that flow of money moves into the actual asset itself, such as the stock or whatnot. Have you ever seen an ETF launch which has caused, let's say, the price of Woolworths in Australia to hit $1 million? I hope you just answered no. The point is that this ETF is not going to push, is unlikely to push Bitcoin any higher than it would naturally be going. Okay? If anything, it's going to have the opposite effect, where people are going to realize what it actually is, and it's going to force the prices back to real or true value. The second part of this, and this is why I want to be like open, honest, and truthful with you, is that now that we are in the second part of this 18.6 year cycle, okay? Let's find another chart to be watching, something cleaner. The 4-year Bitcoin cycle is an interesting one because we move up or we move down 4 years at a time. The thing with this current 4-year Bitcoin cycle, and if I can grab like a time measure tool, excuse me, is if we track the low of this cycle and we track it out, and let's just say we do years, I'm going to add on some more data. And again, the Bitcoin cycle runs top to top or bottom to bottom. So actually you might run it from the top. That's another piece of information no one has told you. Top to top, bottom to bottom. If we run it from the top, that puts us on alert for a top in the Bitcoin price, if we were to use 4 years up, 4 years down, etc., around 2026. Now, if you know anything about the 18-year cycle, you'll know that there is a suggested peak in the market around 2026. Now, here's the thing about the 18-year cycle. The 18-year cycle has two parts to it, okay? And the second part of the cycle is interrupted by what's known as a mid-cycle slowdown, or the second part of the cycle is what's known as not true value. In the first part of the cycle, we have the market moving higher based on what could be deemed as true value, okay? That is, businesses are struggling and no money is being made. Businesses then start to generate money. Money is then flowed. The value of the asset or the stock price is then reflecting true value. And then the market hits a top where it becomes slightly overinflated and then corrects, okay? And then in the second part of the cycle, we get a lot of businesses are not making money. Some of them are, but the overall general bias of the trend is higher. And this because in the second part of the cycle, everyone believes that the bottom of the market is in, and now everyone wants to get rich because they want to repeat exactly what happened in the first part of the cycle, which they missed out on. And then they buy now on speculation. I'll tell you one thing. Nobody wanted Bitcoin back in 2019 and 2020. Nobody wanted Bitcoin basically up until here. Nobody wanted it. You had a few early speculators that wanted it, but nobody wanted it. How do I know? Because you just monitor the groups. This cycle here, which aligns perfectly with this thesis of the 18-year cycle, has the Bitcoin making a low in 2022. Everyone expecting that low to occur. And now everyone speculating prices are going to be going higher. This is going to force prices higher naturally, okay? Supply, demand, etc., etc., etc. However, prices are rising on speculation, not on true value or anything like that. And that means that if Bitcoin goes to $1 million, hypothetically, by 2026, it's going to crash 90%, okay? Oh, you bought it at $40,000, it crashes, it goes to $1 million, it crashes to $100,000, you still made money, who cares? But that's not exactly the point. The point is that it's rising on speculation and you're buying into this at the very wrong time from a speculative point of view. And I'm not saying that you can't speculate for 6 months, you can't speculate for 12 months on a rising price. That's fine, that's totally okay. But the timing of this is not okay. And that's what I'm trying to protect you against. Okay, the whole point of my channel is not to help you make money, it's help you to protect your money, okay? So if you want to invest short term, go ahead. My thesis would be not to be buying into the ETF, it'd be to waiting to the ETF. What's the gamble? The ETF gets launched and the market goes to $1 million. The problem I have with this is, here's what I've heard. I've seen people on Facebook go, I have $100, okay? I have $100 spare. Should I put $100 into Bitcoin? I don't want to be rude, but if all you have is $100, you shouldn't. You've got the wrong priorities. I know you want to start small. I know you want to get something, but you're buying to try to turn your $100 at the price of Bitcoin at $43,000 US, and it possibly going to $1 million. You're trying to turn, or you're trying to get lucky on that, okay? The reason why I would caution that is because that is a bad behavior, okay? It's bad investor behavior. Because the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, okay? What you should be doing is finding skills and finding out when the market is likely to bottom out and when it's likely to top out, and buying within those ranges. W. Gann would always say that the most money is made in the major swings, okay? Yes, I do believe that. If you bought down here and you put $100 in when it was $19,000, perfect. But the time period is now becoming risky, where you're entering a period where an asset is meant to have a major event occur on it. And that major event, where the market is rising up into that event, generally does not make the market move higher. It generally makes profit takers come in and the market moves lower. Okay? Hypothetically speaking, I don't want to give any absolute accuracies or anything like that, because I could be wrong and Bitcoin could go to $1 million. But I just see this going the wrong way, and I see it going pear-shaped, and that's why I'm just not suggesting that you go all in right now. I'm giving you the other angles, okay? So when we come to the square of 9, some of the most significant levels that we're watching are the blue ones right now, because we're going to break the green one. So the next major resistance is going to be the blue at 45.5. And then we'll look at 48.2. And then the next one will be basically between 50,000 to 51,000. If Bitcoin prices can move higher, and we go back to our cycle, if Bitcoin prices can move higher, we look for those price targets to be hit. We want tops to occur around those price targets. We want tops to occur on those dates as well, which I haven't provided you, but in the monthly service, you'll be looking for those dates. If tops are occurring at price targets and if tops are occurring on those dates, look lower, don't look higher. If bottoms are occurring on those price targets and bottoms are occurring on those dates, look higher, not lower. So as this market moves higher and we get to that first part of the crest, the mid-cycle crest of this 90-day cycle, put in your price targets, put on your dates that you'll be watching for the market to likely turn. I really got to get better at this drawing thing. And then see the action that occurs around this time period here, because that is going to assist you in knowing if this market is going to top before the mid-cycle or top after the mid-cycle. And no matter which it does, it's going to guide you on knowing if the market's likely to fall lower or higher on the second part of the cycle, okay? So that's all I have. I'm personally not a buyer yet. I want to know how this next 90-day cycle plays out. I do have a small amount that I've held for quite a while. I'm not buying or selling anything new. I want to know how this next 90-day cycle plays out, because I am happy for the speculation to take hold and take Bitcoin higher. But for new investors, I just caution you to possibly get your priorities straight. There's more trouble to come in this world than you may be expecting, and I don't think Bitcoin is going to be the savior that you're looking for. So yes, wait for prices to scoot up higher on speculation into 2026. It is very, very likely to occur. Not based on fundamentals, not based on true value, not based on what Bitcoin was developed on, but based on speculation as we head into the ultimate peak in 2026. Once that occurs, pop, expect it to crash 80 to 90%.